Hello and welcome to this presentation. In this presentation I will talk about a board game that we made as a project for Gaming Fundamentals. There were 4 of us in the team, which were Rokas Janicius, Magdalena Krolik, Jessica Broxan and Scarlett Dingvan. Our first step was to create the 3 ideas for the game based on a card game called Grow a Game, which helps you prototype games quickly. From the 3 ideas we had to choose one and extend that idea to a working prototype. The cards that were picked up were Alienation, Animal World, Determination, and Finding. From these words we decided that the word action will occur on a spaceship, the characters will be animals, determination will be as in the need to escape from the spaceship, and only one animal can escape from the ship as there is only one escape pod on that spaceship. Our first idea for the game was to create 3 floors with a kitchen theme. You would play as a rat and you would have to find the cheese, which would be at the very top floor. But we decided to replace the rat characters as other animals, and instead of a kitchen, it would be based on a spaceship. Now I would like to tell you about 7 formal elements of our game called Space Escape. The first element is a player interaction pattern. We created this game for 2 to 4 players within the age range of 9 to 99. It's based on a survival/competitive idea with only one winner. The second element is objective. Our game is about 4 animals, a cat, a dog, a rabbit, and fox. They are trying to escape from the alien spaceship. To win, a player must reach the last square on the board and use the escape pod. The third element are the rules. In this game, the player will find many explicit rules such as movement using the Wheel of Destiny, the battle mode, the hole in the ground, and using all available types of cards. The next element is procedures. Procedures are controlled by all of the rules in the game, starting with the setting up of the game. The player has to place the board game down on a table and put the character tokens on square number 1. Shuffle and separate each of the cards, which are the banana and treasure cards. Leave the event cards facing upwards and put all other tokens aside in a box. And deal 1 treasure and banana card to each player. Choose your character and take a health sheet and pen to keep track of HP. Whoever picks the cat character will be first and turns go in a clockwise direction. Other actions taken by players directly in the game such as movement, picking up the characters, setting the alien tokens, fighting the aliens, using the Wheel of Destiny for advantages and defense. The fifth element are the resources. In Space Escape, the player will find health sheets for keeping track of their health, treasure, and banana cards. The treasure cards are used to reward the player and the banana cards are used to slow down other players. Each alien specifies the alien's HP, and the HP can be found on the backside of the alien tokens themselves. The other resource is the Wheel of Destiny, which will dictate if the player receives their advantage or defense with an equal chance of attaining both. The sixth element are boundaries. In the physical world, the game is constructed from a 2-level board game with 72 squares and different obstacles. In the reality of the game, our player plays as one of the 4 animal characters which are on the spaceship full of aliens. The last formal element is outcome. Our game ends when the player either lands on square 72 or all other event cards run out. In that case, the player closest to the escape pod wins and others lose.
The next thing that I would like to talk about are the dramatic elements of our game. We have created clear and precise instructions for players to begin our game without any confusion. Our instruction sheet contains 7 pages which explain in detail the rules and procedures of the game. To give the players an emotional input, we created banana and treasure cards. They allow the player to have more influence while playing. With this, the players can create a strategy throughout gameplay and fully enjoy the competitive side of our game. The first dramatic element is the premise. In Space Escape, the players are trying to escape from an alien spaceship by finding an escape pod. The next dramatic element is the characters. In Space Escape, players will find 4 different characters, each with varying advantages and disadvantages. We created a fox, cat, rabbit, and dog character. Some of them share the same advantage. For example, the cat and fox both can sneak past enemies. The rabbit can move 2 extra spaces and the dog can deal extra damage in combat. Just like the advantages, characters can share similar disadvantages. The cat and dog characters always move 1 space less than they roll. The rabbit and fox characters always deal 1 less damage when fighting aliens. All new players must read the instructions carefully in order to understand the game. The game can be unpredictable because even until the very end, nobody can be sure who will win, even in the last turn. The player in first place can end up coming last. This can happen because of banana cards, losing all your health in combat or the hole in the ground spawns. In order to develop our game as much as possible, we playtested Space Escape many times. After many changes, we decided to do a new playtest using new players with no previous game experience. This gave us really good and important feedback. With this knowledge, we could make our final tweaks and changes. At this stage, we changed the defense and character advantage mechanics. At first, they were regulated by rolling 4-sided dice. Unfortunately, this idea was slightly too confusing for players, so we decided to create the spinning Wheel of Destiny that had a 50-50 chance of success or failure. The other big change was to improve our instruction sheet. We added more detail and made it more clear and easy to understand. The next change was to explain a few of the event cards. With these changes, we arranged the last feedback with new players. Thankfully, it was a great success and everybody enjoyed the game. Now I would like to talk to you about the mechanics of Space Escape. The first important mechanic is space. Physically, it is a 2-level board game with 72 squares on which players have to move in a numeric order. The game is set inside an alien spaceship with 2 floors. The next mechanic is about the objects. In-game, players will find characters, treasure cards, banana cards, alien cards, and tokens, event cards, Wheel of Destiny, and 3 6-sided dice. Event cards. An event card is drawn by the cat player every turn, and these are applied to everyone. Each event card is discarded once it has been used. After the last event card has been drawn and played, each of the players gets one more turn to try and escape the spaceship. If nobody escapes on this turn, the player closest to square number 72 wins the game. Banana cards. When the player lands on the banana spawn, that player may draw a banana card. These cards can be used to slow down or move other players. A player can use them at any time during the game, including someone else's turn. Each player can hold a maximum of 2 banana cards at any time. If a player is already holding 2 banana cards, they do not have to draw upon landing on another banana spawn. Treasure cards. When a player lands on the treasure spawn, that player may draw a treasure card. These cards can be used to improve your character for 1 turn. They can only be used at the beginning of your turn. Every player can hold a maximum of 2 treasure cards at any time. If a player is already holding 2 treasure cards, they do not have to draw upon landing on another treasure spawn. Players don't know what cards opponents hold, and when he or she will use them, this gives the game an unpredictable but competitive element. Alien cards. When the player lands on an alien spawn, that player draws an alien card. Then they put the corresponding alien token on the board in front of their own character token. If there already is an alien token in front of the player, then the player must put the new alien token on the next available square, leaving a minimum of 1 space between alien tokens. Alien tokens cannot be placed on an alien spawn. Wheel of Destiny. The Wheel of Destiny is used to find out if an advantage has been applied for each character. It is also used to check if a player has defended him or herself in battle. The next mechanic is about the attributes of the characters. Each character has an advantage and disadvantage. To use an advantage, the player has to spin the Wheel of Destiny to find out if it applies. This disadvantage is always applied to the player. The other character attribute is their health. Each player starts the game with 20 health points. The alien's attribute is their health. Another game mechanic is the actions. Actions start with the first movement of gameplay. The first action is always made by the cat because the character starts by drawing an event card every round. In order to move, players roll the 2 6-sided dice. This resulting number is the amount of spaces the player will move. Only the rabbit character can spin the Wheel of Destiny during movement to check if his advantage applies. If yes, this character moves 2 extra spaces. The dog and cat always move 1 space less than the roll result. The other action is landing on card spawns and alien spawns. When the player lands on a card spawn, they draw a card from the relative pile and add this to their hand if possible. When the player lands on an alien spawn, they draw a card from the alien card pile to see what alien they will fight in combat. Using the Wheel of Destiny, players check their advantage/defense is applied. The next action is battle mode. Players use a 6-sided dice in order to deal damage. Some characters may use the Wheel of Destiny during combat to apply their advantages. Another mechanic in our game is skill. This game tries to exercise the observational and strategic skills of players. This is done by use of banana and treasure cards. The next mechanic is chance. The game is unpredictable until the very end. Everything can change. The dice can bring an element of luck to the game, meaning every turn will be different. Aesthetics of Space Escape. We can describe these with the vision and touch. Visually, we tried to make the prototype with a high level of design quality. We have decided to keep the art simple and cartoony. With this, the players, young and old, will enjoy the visual aspect of our game. By touch, we finished the boards with transparent foil in order to give them a clean and glossy texture. The same foil was applied to our character sheets to prolong their lifetime. All we learned from this project is that pre-planning and timing is key throughout the project. We didn't have a clear plan in our head of what to do, we just did what we thought was right at the time. This is not the way to go about it, since we ended up having to postpone other elements of the game. Communication is also key. We had instances where someone worked on a piece of artwork only for someone else to make it, and turns out to be a big waste of time. When we had to document this game and make the video, we had to look at various notes about game mechanics so we can fully understand and easily talk about it during the video. We learned a lot of new things regarding game mechanics that we never knew before. So in conclusion, for our next project we need to set up a schedule that works for everyone on the team and establish constant communication to avoid confusion during the project.